Good morning, everyone. So today we will talk about means of transport and communication. Various means of transport such as roads, railways, perennial navigable rivers, airport, and means of communication such as telephone, line, telegraph, post office, etc. are represented on the topographical map with the help of appropriate symbols. That symbols already we have talked about, that is given in your book. Means of transport represented on the topographical map help us understand the nature of terrain development in the region, etc. Like if a given region is shown on a topographical map and railway tracks are there, okay, roads are there, airports are there, okay, it shows that it is a well developed region, and if these things are absent then it is a underdeveloped region. So it helps us to understand these things also. Alright. Roads and railway routes are straight if the region is plain, having very gentle slope. On the other hand, roads are represented as zigzag line in the hilly regions or the regions having fairly steep slopes. Transport network is very poor in the underdeveloped or backward region. You get more number of good roads and railway routes in the more developed regions. So in a way, the roads and the railway routes, it shows, okay, so the nature of that relief also there. Alright, like if it is a plain region, then the roads, routes or the railway routes will be straight. Alright, and if it is plain or if it is having gentle slope. But if it is a hilly region, alright, or steep slopes are there, then the roads or the railway tracks will be zigzag. Alright, or very less number of roads and railway tracks will be there. So it shows that what kind of nature that land is having in that given region. Okay, and those areas which are underdeveloped, alright, backward regions, so there will be lack of road transport or railway routes. Now let us talk about how to identify drainage and settlement patterns. First let us talk about drainage patterns. Rainwater which falls on the ground flow in the direction of the slope and forms streams. These streams join together to form a river. A river also flows from the area of higher elevation to an area of lower elevation. Thus, a river is good indicator of the slope of the ground. Location of a river normally coincides with the lowest elevation in the map area. Now see this figure. Alright, a river is there, higher elevation, it is flowing downwards from the higher elevation towards the lower elevation. Okay, in the figure you can see the downward figure. You can see higher elevation, the river is flowing towards the lower elevation. So the flow of a river or a stream also gives us an idea about the general slope of that given area, what is the direction of the slope. Alright, so this is how it helps us. The flow of water on the surface of land is controlled by the nature of land surface. River carries out the work of erosion along their courses. The geological structure of land below the surface is not same or uniform. It may have soil or rock. Some of the rocks are hard and they resist erosional process, while some of the rocks are soft which are eroded more rapidly. The geological structure also determines the direction of the flow of river water. So in the previous class also we have talked about it, alright, how a river flows, how it comes down from the higher elevations towards the lower region. Alright, on its way when it is flowing, okay, the nature of that rock or the soil is not the same everywhere. At some areas the rock is very hard, alright, in some areas it is soft soil is there. Okay, erosion is possible. In some areas erosion is not possible. Alright, so these are the things also which determines the direction of a river. Okay, there are various patterns of drainage. They help us identifying the nature of the land surface. The main types of drainage patterns are given below. Let us talk about it. The first one is called dendritic drainage pattern. Okay, this type of drainage pattern is formed on the land surface which is rather uniform. So where generally dendritic drainage pattern is found? The areas which are having, alright, a uniform slope, alright, gently sloping land with homogeneous that is having same type of hardness. The soil is the smoothness or the hardness of that soil is the same everywhere. Okay, so this is how that dendritic drainage pattern is formed. Generally, this type of drainage pattern develops on level surface whose rocks do not offer much resistance. So that kind of pattern is visible there. Can you see there? The structure of the drainage is like a tree, the branches of a tree. That kind of shape will be there. Okay. In this drainage pattern, the tributary streams flow from different directions to meet the main river. This pattern of drainage appears like a tree having many branches. These are the branches, actually are the tributaries, and the trunk, that is the the stem, that is the main river. So several small rivers or that the streams, it flows, it is coming from all the directions and it is merging with the main river. So this is how we are getting that dendritic drainage pattern. Now the next drainage pattern is called trellised or rectangular drainage pattern. Trellised means a framework or a rectangular pattern. If the surface of the land is composed of alternate layers of hard and soft rocks, then the soft rocks are eroded much earlier due to the erosive action of the river and its tributaries. As a result, depressions are formed in between two hard rocks. Streams flowing through these depressions join together at right angle. This pattern of drainage is known as rectangular or trellised pattern of drainage. Now see this figure. You can see hard rock, then soft rock, then hard rock, then soft rock. So alternate hard rock and soft rocks are there, and the river is flowing there. The streams are flowing. Okay, so it is easy for that stream to erode. All right, to cause that erosion wherever soft rocks are there and hard rock, there is no erosion. All right. So what is common there in that pattern, that is a trellised pattern, that you will see that the main river is flowing straight and the tributaries are coming and merging with the main river at an angle of 90 degree. Okay, so we call it trellised drainage pattern. Okay. The third drainage pattern is called radial drainage pattern. This type of drainage pattern develops around hills or elevated portion of land. Rainwater which falls on hills flows in all directions like rays, radiating in all directions from the central location like the spokes of a wheel. You may have seen a wheel and the spokes, the wheel of a bicycle. You can see that in the center all the spokes are coming and merging. Okay, so we call it a radial drainage pattern. Generally it is found around the hilly regions. Okay, when rainfall occurs over the peak of a mountain, all right, so the water will flow in all the direction. It will come down from that peak in all the direction. So we call it a radial or centrifugal. Okay, so generally we call it radial drainage pattern. Now see this figure. Okay, the clouds are there over the peak of that mountain. The rainfall is occurring and the rainwater, all right, in the form of a stream is coming down in all the direction. See the next figure also. Okay, if this type of drainage pattern is visible there in the topo sheet, so we can understand that this area is a hilly area. Okay, and what kind of drainage pattern it is having? Radial drainage pattern. The fourth one is centripetal drainage pattern. This type of drainage pattern develops in an area surrounded by mountains or land of higher elevations. All streams move towards the central part which is at a low level. This type of drainage pattern is known as centripetal drainage pattern. Okay, in this figure you can see. Alright, this low-lying area is surrounded by high elevated regions. So the streams are coming down and moving towards that central part, the low-lying area. You can see in the next figure also, the streams are coming from all the directions and it is merging in a lake. So we call it centripetal drainage pattern. Now let us talk about patterns of settlements. Arrangement or location of individual houses in a particular way forms pattern of settlement. Example, if the settlements are in one line on one side along the road or river, it is termed as linear pattern. But if the houses are on both sides of the road, it is termed as ribbon pattern. Houses around the circular lakes form a circular pattern. Similarly, there are square pattern and rectangular pattern also, depending on the nature of the road. A settlement can even form S or T shape pattern as well. Okay, so here we are talking about different type of patterns. All right, it may be linear, that means along the side of a road. If the houses are on both sides of that road in a line, then we are calling it ribbon pattern. Alright, if the houses are in a circular form like around a lake, alright, then we call it a circular pattern. A square pattern also may be there, or a rectangular pattern also may be there. So we will talk about them one by one. Nucleated or clustered pattern of settlements. If the houses in the village are very close to each other, then such pattern of settlement is termed as nucleated, clustered or compact. Example, settlements near the source of water or an oasis in the desert. In the figure you can see, okay, the houses which are constructed there. This is how the houses are shown on a topo sheet. Okay, red squares will be there, boxes. Okay, and you can see all these houses are very close to each other. Okay, generally where it is found, around the source of water. In the, you know that in the deserts, if an oasis is there, so around that oasis you will see the houses are very close to each other, so we call it nucleated pattern of settlement. Next one is dispersed or scattered pattern of settlement. In this case, the houses are away from each other, therefore this pattern of settlement is termed as dispersed or scattered. Example, the far apart houses in hilly inaccessible areas. Okay, around the hilly areas, you know that the plain regions are not there. It is not easy for the people to construct houses. In that case, houses are far away from each other, so we call it dispersed or scattered pattern of settlement. Now you can see some figures are given here. So different pattern of settlements are shown here: rectangular, square, S shape, linear, circular, L shape, okay, horseshoe shape, T shape. So different type of settlement patterns are there. So what you have to do is you go through the exercises, solve the questions, and if you are having any doubt through the dashboard, you can ask me the questions. Thank you.